All right. Welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier hypnosis life healer coach and your personal guide. And a super special and a warm welcome to all of you, especially as viewers, listeners, and watchers of the iHypnosis life coaching journeys podcast that you've been part of. We began this journey a little over 2 years ago, and today we are at a very special juncture. And of course, I have a very special guest in our midst. Today is, of course, episode number 100. So thank you all for sending your wishes, your intentions for this podcast to keep going. And it was beautiful how it all came together because I met this very special person, and you'll also get to hear more about her life and a lot more. So with that, let's put our hands together and welcome in Dr. Reshma Mallya. So of course, Reshma, this is your cue. You can go ahead and turn on your camera and welcome to the iHypnosis Life Coaching Journeys.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And I'm as I said before, I'm really looking forward to hearing your journey and where you are today, and what the future looks like in through your eyes. So before we get to that, maybe we'll start at the beginning. So if someone asks you today, so Dr. Reshma, what do you do? What do you tell them today?
Sorry, I just missed your question. I think there was some.
No worries. This is the flip side of us doing the home pod. So I'll repeat it again. So basically, it's like when someone sees you today, meets you today, and they say, "So, Dr. Reshma, what do you do? What do you tell them today?"
Yeah, earlier I would have told them I'm a marketer, I'm a
Hmm.
health marketer,
Hmm.
I used to be a dentist and all of that. But these days, the more I know myself, the more I know my strengths, it's
Hmm.
becoming more like I'm someone who sees patterns, I'm someone who
Hmm.
meaning. I'm a sense maker. I dot connector, right? And I think these are the kind of things that
Hmm.
or skill sets that are going to take the humankind ahead, right?
Nice.
So that's what I see myself as, and not wanting to box myself in a particular mold.
Hmm.
Even though I've been in healthcare and I love healthcare,
Hmm.
I also see what the world needs right now, right?
Hmm.
The more I see, it's everywhere. It's about AI, AI, AI. Like everybody's talking about AI.
Hmm.
But how do humans cope with what changes are happening?
Hmm.
That's what I'm more interested in.
Right.
I'm thinking 10 steps ahead, right? Yeah.
Nice. So, you've said a lot, and I know we get to together unpack this, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about, your reflections and your revelations that you've had. But before we get to that, something that I've heard now for a while, that when a guest comes and shares who they are today or what they do today, when you say the words that you say, it's not something it's not like, Chat GPT created. You've literally taken time to reflect on your life, and therefore you say this is who you are and this is what you stand for today.
Yeah.
But before we get to unpacking that, I'd love for you to take us back in time and take us on this journey. Like, how did you get here? Because I'm sure it wasn't just one moment or one experience that you had. I'm sure there would be a whole journey to it. So take us back as far back as you want to, and walk us through, like, how did this come together?
Let me start at the very beginning when I was a kid,
Hmm.
right? So I always remember myself as being very self sufficient,
Mm,
very not dependent on anyone for anything. Like,
mm,
I would just be myself, and I would do things myself. And I was
mm,
a very responsible kid
mm,
because both my parents were working. And
mm,
I used to observe people a lot. I
mm,
was very curious. I used to read a lot. In
mm.
fact, there was a nearby library in which I'd finished all the children's books, right? So there was nothing left.
Right.
But I also used to be good at school. I used to be friendly, social.
Mm,
I had a lot of exposure to people as a kid because both my parents were very social and they used to
right.
travel a lot. Fortunately, I had a lot of exposure to different kinds of people
Mm,
and a lot of patriotism, a lot of love for the society, love for
mm,
impact. My parents always used to help people a lot. So I always wanted to make a lot of impact
mm,
in this world.
mm,
I mean, money was not discussed that much. right, in my
Mm.
childhood, but impact was.
Mm.
So I always grew up with that thing, that I want to make impact. And I always felt like all of us have some kind of superpowers, right?
Right.
So we just have to discover our own superpower,
Mm.
right? It need not be like Superman or Batman or whatever, right? It's just that
Mm.
you need to discover your superpower, right?
Mm. Mm.
And yeah, I was very creative, curious.
Mm.
Always think of why not this, right?
Mm.
Everybody would think, why this? I would think,
Mm.
why not this?
Right.
And I used to be very creative like that. I joined dentistry. I did not really want
Mm.
to, but then, in South Indian families, it's like you have to have one doctor, one engineer,
Right.
every family, and all of that, right? That pressure. Somehow I missed that, merit medical seat by some 2, 3 marks.
Right.
I got into dentistry. Not that I
Mm.
regret it, but I did enjoy learning about it, and I practiced it also for 4 years.
Wow.
But at the same time, I was not very happy because, again, impact, right? I wanted to make
Mm.
impact. I was quite impatient at that time, I think. And I didn't know whether by being a friendly neighborhood dentist, I would create a lot of impact, right?
Mm.
I respect people a lot who do it, right? And obviously,
Mm.
they are creating impact in people's lives.
Mm.
But I always had a bigger canvas, right? Thinking
Mm.
canvas. And I always used to talk a lot to my patients, observe them,
Mm.
what would make them happy, what would make them angry.
Mm.
I always, and wherever with whoever I met, I always used to see deeper into their psychology. Like, why are they behaving the way they,
Mm.
or even if I travel in trains, I'm a, observer, right?
Mm.
And I like stories, like I
Mm.
like people, and I sort of make connections, right?
Mm.
So I generally find life very interesting because of that. Right?
Mm.
So yeah, so what happened was then then got into creative writing, copywriting. After
Mm.
that, after 4 years, because I was always interested in writing, and
Mm.
used to get prizes for mad ads in college and all that.
Mm.
And after that, there's no stopping me. Like once I
Mm.
got into copywriting,
Mm.
I
Right.
got digital marketing,
Mm.
then the whole thing. I've worked in various companies.
Mm.
What I can say is I made the best of every opportunity that came to me,
Mm.
and it just happened to come to me at the right time. And at that time, everybody was like, oh, she's unstable, or she's
Mm.
going from one kind of company to the other. She's going
Right.
from a digital agency where she's heading the
Mm.
agency, literally,
Mm.
to Yahoo, which is in a sales role. Like,
Mm.
couldn't make sense of it, right? People
Mm.
make sense of it. But for me, it was like, okay, I've learned all this. Now I should learn selling also,
Wow.
right? I've worked
Mm.
with an agency. Now I want to work with the publisher side also. So
Mm.
for me, it made a lot of sense.
Mm. Mm.
And then I got into Z Digital, and then I became an editor for a health portal. It was all like, now if I see it, it all
Mm.
makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
because I picked up different skill sets at different jobs, different roles.
Mm.
And at
Mm.
the same time, I was evolving as a human being also.
Right.
I was
True.
getting more confident. I went from managing teams to
Mm.
becoming a PNL head to then an entrepreneur. Beach mein I did MBA also, executive MBA.
Mm.
So that added more skill sets and
Mm.
better mindset and all of that, right? So it's all a journey.
Mm.
One thing that I have learned is, and one thing I'm good at is, I'm not stuck in an identity, right? Most of the times people are like, okay, I have spent so much time in this.
Mm.
So, I have to stick to this because this is me.
Mm.
For me, it's not like that. And people often find it weird, right?
Mm.
Why can't she stick to something? I'm like,
Right.
okay, whatever. I mean, so there are people, there are different shapes of intelligences.
Mm.
So there are people like me who are called as having M-shaped intelligence. So we do not want to be stuck or, put in one mold. And
Mm.
we are people who can connect the dots, who can
Mm.
take your experience and intelligence and analytics from one industry, put it in the other, and so on and so forth. Not just in terms of professional, but even personal
Mm.
life and all. We are able to do that,
Mm. Mm.
draw conclusions with different kind of data sets and all of that, right? So yeah, for people like us, it's a little. I mean, people don't understand us, but it makes a lot of sense to us.
Mm.
And now I think with the kind of things that are coming up, people who are going to be fluid with their identity, okay with and not comfortable with, identity fragility, I call it, right, are going to win, right? Okay, I have been in marketing all
Right.
lifelong, and I'm going to be in marketing. I'm going to teach people marketing. Then, I mean, it could be one of the things you do, but it can't be the only thing you do.
Right.
Right. Secondly, what happens is now it's like the world is so fragmented, right? And you need like a portfolio of careers. You need like multiple income sources, like some active, some passive, and ideally you should be using all your strengths. So, for example, I mean, I love teaching, but at the same time, I love writing as well. So I write books. I read a lot. I, sort of synthesize information a lot. I discuss with people a lot about things. I like meeting new people. So I'm seeing how I can utilize my strengths. Similarly, everybody will have some strengths or the other. So it's up to them how they can utilize it. Especially for women, I feel now it's going to be a golden period because every woman is multi talented.
Correct. True.
Even if you're a healer, you're a coach, you might be having some other skill set also, right? How do you actually utilize that? Even if you know knitting, how do you utilize that? Can you teach people to knit?
Right.
The more I feel AI is going to be like, you need skill sets or you need something which keeps you grounded. Something with working with your hands, working with your senses, all of that is going to become bigger, right? People would want to do that just to stay in touch with reality, right?
Right.
So those kind of things are something that people need to think about, and they are opportunities, I would say.
Right. Nice. So you've given us like a bird's eye view of the early years and then the choices that you made along the way. And maybe for a little while, you could, tell us a little bit more about, let's say, in the context of the professional avatar.
Yeah.
Let's say if you look at the last 2 to 3 years, like what are some of the shifts that you notice you making? And then how does that now translate into what you're intending to create for people out
Yeah. So I have worked for a long time in healthcare and
there?
digital healthcare in particular. So I worked with a company called Wealthy Therapeutics and with Fitterfly, where both were into diabetes digital therapeutics, right? So I used to work closely with patients as well as doctors and coaches and technology teams, product teams, and all of that. And even though I was in marketing, but I used to sort of connect the dots there and try to see what was the real problem, right? Um, that is one of the things that again is a skill set where marketing doesn't mean spending on ads, and I mean that is advertising, right? It actually means that you go into the depths of the market fit and what actually will sell, what do the consumers want, and all of that, right? So I used to go deeper into that. I used to listen to a lot of calls. I used to sit on a lot of meetings and conversations with patients and clients, even customers, not even like direct patients, but like say insurance companies, pharma companies, and all of that. So then I used to sort of take that together, then I observed that there are a lot of human elements also. It's not just about technology, right? Everybody's talking about technology, but what actually, even if you have the best app in the world, but if it doesn't take into consideration the core human drives, right? What core human drive are you pushing there, right?
Right.
Is it ownership? Is it scarcity? Is it what is it, right? So I studied gamification and design thinking at that time, and that really helped me a lot to understand and go deeper. Then I did some interesting things like starting communities for diabetes patients,
Right.
and then I also uh, you know like published there's a lot of data that gets generated, right? So published like a reimagining diabetes care report every year, maybe. So those kind of things we used to do where basically disparate sets of data or insights, and then we put it together in a meaningful way so that it is of use to someone. So those kind of things we did. And yeah, I had a amazing time there. But after that, then I worked with an aesthetics company again as a consultant, where again I helped launch a very new kind of molecule, new kind of therapy for doctors. I used to sell it to doctors. So again, I got a lot of chance to work with doctors there. Understood them very well. So I have been surrounded by doctors. Even my brother is a surgeon. My daughter is now becoming a doctor, and
Wow.
most of my friends are doctors. So when I started seeing them and talking to them, I saw that these are very smart people, right? And they got into medicine or paramedical fields because they were smart, right? I mean, because they studied hard and were intelligent, not just smart, right? So, but the kind of returns they get, right? It is dependent on how well they're able to market themselves, brand themselves, and how good an entrepreneur they are.
Right.
So I noticed that need gap there, that the skill set is required, right? Positioning themselves and being on social media, or even fixing the whole funnel once the patient comes in, all of that, right? So then I started seeing how can I help over there. So I tried the coaching model, right? And to some extent the coaching model worked, because some people who are sort of having some time and all used to
Right.
appeal to them. But there are a lot of other doctors for whom like it may not appeal, because they need to put in time and effort,
Correct.
and might as well just get it done by others instead of so I also started catering to a few senior doctors like that, right? Very senior doctors who are like 30 plus years, of experience. And now they want to build a legacy. Before going, they
Right.
want to build a legacy, and they want to probably train others also, right? So I have such clients as well. And it is very fascinating to work with them because they have so much experience and they have so many stories, they have so much data. They've not done anything, and they're very, very pure and genuine people who want to make an impact, right? So it's not like they want more patients. It's
Right.
like I have had so much experience, I have so much insights, share it with the world. It's a very different kind of mindset,
Right.
right? So I work with those kind of people as well. But when I was working with all these doctors and all, then I started learning vibe coding myself, and I started seeing how can I make it very, very simple for them. And the more I talked to them, the more I knew that they wanted something more personalized. But at
Right.
the same time, I didn't want to get into an agency model as well. So it's a very operation heavy model.
Correct.
So what I did was I launched something where basically I do like an audit report based on some questions and based on some audits we do personally for them, their online presence and how their staff answers the calls, or the whole flow of the patient and things like that. And based on that, we give the audit report. After that, basically, I've created some tools, like for example, a review tool, and online presence audit tool, and things like that. So people can use it themselves, and in very few number of hours, like they can finish the whole thing. Right?
Right.
So I'm trying to automate it as much as possible and
Right.
add the videos there itself, that they don't need coaching sessions as such, but everything is there, right there, right? So I mean, because people here are coaches, the ones who are listening to us, I want to say that now going forward, coaching is not just about coaching. Obviously the human touch is very, very important,
True.
but how can you make it simpler for them, by using you know by using technology in the right way, so that they have the time to actually think for themselves and not depend on others, right? So that's also very important. So that is what I've done in the last 2-3 years. And I've also written a book, The Death of Healthcare as We Know It. It's about basically, I have something called the art framework: authority, reputation, and trust. There are 18 real stories which show how you can actually work on authority, reputation, and trust in healthcare.
Right. Wow.
That's what I've done. But now, like I told you, I'm thinking of a few other things. But yeah.
Nice. So, when we did like our pre-talk, when we were preparing, when we connected and I was, walking you through what happens in the pod, it was interesting to hear you talk about the shift that you're in the process of, you're experiencing and you're in the process of, um, uh, like bringing it to life, shall we say.
Yeah.
So I'd love for you to share that because again, a lot of times, coaches, a lot of times healers get stuck in one sort of frame and they kind of start to believe that, they're only that frame versus upon, for let's say closer inspection or introspection, maybe there's a realization that you're more than that. Right.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of courage
Yeah.
to not only do that, but to also tell other people that. Right. So maybe if you could share a little bit of what that was like and also what have been some of your realizations as you are creating now another reality, so to speak.
5 years back, I had a sort of a shift in the sense that I separated from my then husband, and that pushed me to a very different kind of an environment. I had my daughter with me, and not much of financial stability because it was during COVID. And I mean, I did whatever I could, right? But it made me stronger. It made me believe in myself a lot more, stand for what I want, and also introspect a lot, right? The same time, what happened was, I think at that time, the coaching industry started coming up a lot, right? During COVID. So, like everybody else, I also started my, journey there in the sense that I enrolled for a lot of coaching programs for various things. And what I realized is, with due respect to everyone, all the coaches out there, everybody's trying to do their best, everybody's trying to help people, right? So, nothing against them. But
Correct.
what I felt was that I got even more confused because listening to multiple people, and then you start getting self doubt, right? Like,
Yeah.
who am I actually? Am I this person? Do I want to be this person? So, and usually, some of these coaching programs which are more professional in nature want to sort of mold you into a particular mold, right? Which is okay for most people, I guess, but because people want to belong and they want an identity, right? So in that way, it is fine. But then what happens is sometimes you may have some other strengths which you may not actually see. If you just say, okay, I'm just going to follow this and I'm
Yeah.
not going to do what he says, right? So what happened to me was that, I have lots of courses. In fact, I was joking that day. I was telling my daughter that everybody else, gives like gold and houses and all. I'm going to give you course logins, right? When I die.
Right.
Right. So I have so many courses, right? So, and so many communities. My WhatsApp is full of like WhatsApp groups of different
Yeah. Yeah.
communities, all of that.
Yeah.
And I don't regret anything. I'm not spent a lot of money and time and energy. I've learned a lot from everywhere. And again, like I was synthesizing all the information and getting it together, basically. But what I realized then is that it is time for me to stop everything and just go inward
Yes.
and ask the right questions. Like, what do I really want? Like, really, really want, not what others want,
Yeah.
right? And not, the goals, which everybody else says, okay, I want to earn 10 crores, I want to be a crorepati or whatever, right? That didn't connect with me that much, right? For me, it's more about how many people can I impact, directly or indirectly. And also, finally, I think more than anything, it's about how you are going to lead your life.
Yes.
Right. That is the real happiness, right? For me, first, I should take care of myself. I should take care of people, animals, and all in my next inner circle. Then the third circle. Then comes everybody else. I used to always think that, okay, I'm supposed to be useful all the time, right? I'm supposed to be doing all the time. Right? But I think the shift is now, I'm just being, right? being myself and doing after that, right?
Mm.
And, there's a quote which says that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, right?
Mm.
What is your worthy ideal versus what is mine can be
Correct.
different,
True.
not be the same. And for me, now my worthy ideal is that I have enough time for myself.
Mm.
I have enough time for my daughter, my pet. I have enough time to pursue what I want to pursue and also make an impact at the same time
Mm.
and live life meaningfully, basically, and be able to keep up in this fragmented world.
Mm. Mm.
What is the point? Like, I used to be a workaholic, okay, when I was working
Mm.
in corporates and all. What is the point of living like that,
Mm.
where you're working all the time, and when you're
Mm.
not working, also you're thinking about work,
Mm.
not able to enjoy anything that's going on around you. Like,
Mm.
it used to be a very masculine kind of thought process I had.
Mm.
Especially for women, what happens is that after a certain level, if you grow,
Right.
at P or president or whatever, right? So then you start, all your colleagues are male.
Right.
So you start emulating them, you start becoming one of them, you start becoming
Mm.
competitive, right? But
Mm.
now that I've taken a back seat from corporates and all of that,
Mm.
I'm rediscovering the feminine side to me.
Nice.
And, I'm seeing what really matters to me,
Mm.
what I really like doing. I mean, people might be shocked, but, for many years, I had not cooked much because
Mm. Right.
I was working, but I didn't have a cook. In the last 1 year or so, I have been cooking myself and I love
Nice.
it, right? I tend to try out new things and my
Mm.
daughter also loves it.
Mm.
Or I spend more time playing with my pets or
Right.
just watching something, writing something,
Mm.
and writing poetry, things like
Mm.
that, which
Mm.
really makes me feel good from inside. Taking care of myself, how I look, how
Mm.
I feel,
Mm.
sometimes even singing, dancing, right? So all of these things matter to me now. And if
Mm.
I'm able to do that, if I'm able to enjoy my life first
Mm.
and then also at the same time help others, impact others, that will be a good kind of a balance.
Mm. Nice. Wow. That's amazing. It just listening to it obviously took a lot of courage. It took time, but you persisted. And I think that in itself is a story when, as I said, when people listen, why this pod exists is when people hear your story, it reminds them that, truly anything is possible. And as long as you start asking that question, and you very rightly, something that we keep echoing in our community, which is when you ask yourself that question, what do you want? What do you really want? And when you're willing to have that courage to listen, that courage to be still where the answer actually comes to you, maybe not immediately but eventually, and then you act on it. That says a lot about who you are and the journey that you've been on. So when you take all of this and you say, okay, now I'm able to do more for myself and to the most immediate circle around you, when you start to kind of let's say fan that outwards, how do you see what you have experienced and the insights that you have gained? This is sort of linking back to where we began, and you used a very one of my favorite frames, which is one of my oldest avatars and ventures, was called join the dots, right? It's sort of like inspired by that book that we had as kids where you had the incomplete picture, but when you join the dots, literally you're able to see the larger picture, so to speak. So in what you're doing today and what you're intending, let's say over the next couple of years, how do you see this pan out? Like, how are you intending to help people, and what kind of people? Like, is it going to be more of people who you've been let's say connected to from the health fraternity, or are you seeing that also change with time?
See, I'm always going to be in love with healthcare. That's going to go away anytime soon.
Mm.
So, and I don't believe in having only one career or one identity,
Mm.
right? So, I can be a healthcare marketer and take up
Mm.
projects and do, help doctors with,
Mm.
and I'm seeing how can I make it easier for them? How can I
Mm.
use technology? How can I use people? to make it easier for them. And that's something I can set up fast and sort of get that going. And it's already on, right?
Right.
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah. The other thing is that, I'm interested in helping women, especially between the ages of 35 to 55. Right now, they're having a lot of identity fragmentation, right? A lot of corporate women are either losing their jobs or are afraid of losing their jobs, or they've lost their jobs for a while now. They're sitting at home, they don't know what to do. You know, what typically happens is, some ad will come on their Instagram feed, they'll click on it, they'll join that course, they'll try this, they'll try that. And I mean, I've been through that, right? So I'm telling
Correct.
that,
Correct.
this is the way people go through the whole thing. And then they, after a few years, they're like, who am I?
Right.
So I want to help them with that. I want them to see what their real strengths are. And that is one of my superpowers, I can say, is that I can actually sense the superpower in others. Like, what is their unique superpower? And I can help people with that. How can they use that, and how can they use their strengths? One more thing that I've noticed is that as women, we keep doing a lot of things, but we don't actually, if you ask someone, okay, what are the 10, wins in your life, right? They'll not be able to tell it immediately. If you ask them for failures, they'll say,
Right.
we are not able to focus on our wins, right? And I've seen it as a pattern across women. It's not just now, right? But somehow, if you sort of look at your life, take like 2 hours, just sit quietly and just see, okay, what all have I done in my life? Go from your childhood till now, right? And just jot it down and keep it with you, right? Every time you feel low, you can just look at it. That's a great way to sort of cheer yourself up.
Right.
And also you'll see a pattern. The other way is, you ask people around you. You ask your friends, relatives, whoever, right? Colleagues.
Right.
That what do they see you as? Like, you ask them to pick certain words for you. Words. You collect that and you see what are they saying, right? There also you see a pattern. Then you sort of know, okay, I'm someone who helps friends need. They come to me for professional advice,
Right.
or they come to me for clothing advice, come to me for fashion advice, whatever it is, right? So there is a pattern, right? So sometimes when you don't ask, you don't know. Or when you don't try to recollect it, you don't know. Right? You also go through your, LinkedIn testimonials or whatever.
Right. Right.
There's a lot of information out there. You just need to, and what kind of your reels are working for you, right? Even if it's not professional, right? Even personal stuff, sometimes you put up some stuff and then you know what kind of content is getting more likes,
Right.
shares, or whatever. So all these are signals, right? How do people see you, or what people like about you and all of that. And then that is not enough. Then you need to ask yourself, is this who I really am, or is it a projection? Then you need to go a little deeper there and then sort of synthesize all of this, right? So I want to help people sort of find who they are and work on it and explore opportunities they never thought was possible before also. I mean, if they want to, try out a new kind of a job, a new vertical, a new industry, or maybe change lanes, because I've done that quite a lot in my life. So you need a certain kind of confidence to do that, right?
Right. True.
Start,
So true.
start from scratch again. And also, I want to help people understand patterns. It is teachable, right? It is not, even though some of us, we have it naturally, but I'm sure it is teachable, right?
Right.
See patterns, see second order kind of effects. So for example, now Elon Musk, right? He's investing so much in SpaceX, right? Why is he investing in SpaceX? To ask someone, they'll say, okay, it is for, people to go and settle there. That is not the immediate thought process, right?
Correct.
How is he going to make money off it? Because AI needs a lot of electricity and, and it needs a lot of data centers and all that. And in this, in the on Earth, it's going to be very costly, right? So that is a thought process, right?
Right.
He was always thinking about bottlenecks, right? If this happens, what is the next bottleneck that will come up?
Right.
The same way, what I see is right now, if AI is going to be so prevalent everywhere, every industry, what is the next bottleneck that's going to come up from a human sense, right? Most humans are going to be looking for meaning, looking for validation, looking for the next opportunity. Money is going to be scarce. I feel. I mean, the rich are going to get richer, and middle class is going to shrink to even further, down. And because of financial issues, relationships are going to be a problem. Because of job losses and all of that, parenting is going to be a problem. Raising kids. And the other thing is, even when you're raising kids, what are you raising them for? Like, in the sense that some years back, our parents knew, like they were very clear, कि, okay, एक engineer बनेगा, एक doctor बनेगा, एक lawyer बनेगा, whatever, right? Now people don't know,
Correct.
right? There's so much uncertainty. Even kids who are getting out of college these days, they don't have jobs, right? What is going to happen? Like, so it's very difficult to parent, like that. The kind of skill sets which I feel people need, parents need, is to let them wiggle and wobble.
Right. Nice.
Wiggle, as in you give them little wiggle room to, different things and fail or whatever and come back, right? And you need to teach that from the beginning, from childhood. Okay.
Right.
Say, okay, this is exactly your, you're going to study from this time to this time. You're going to be going to tuition from this time to this time. Want to play only this sport. You want to do only this. Then there's no wiggle room. You need to give time for them to think, to sort of just be themselves, discover themselves, and all of that.
Right.
Make their own friends, learn, fall, whatever, right? And wobble is basically that resilience, right? So they keep falling again and again,
Right.
they get back, right? And try out different things, go down in different angles, but come,
Nice.
right? So I'm actually writing, I've created a series of characters, writing a series of books for kids
Nice.
between the ages of 3 to 5,
Amazing.
which is about all this, right? Which skill sets which they need to develop, right? And there I've tried to keep it very non-conventional, in the sense that it's like a usual storybook where the mother is cooking and the father is
Yeah.
working and all of that, but a little bit different, and they don't have enough time for the kid. The kid is independent, doing things himself, discovering things himself, falling, sleeping, getting up, again, trying again, managing it, and his imagination. Like,
Nice.
I'll share that with you sometime. So, so this whole thing fascinates me. Like, what are the sets and mindsets that people need to develop in this coming up, in whatever's coming up, right? Right now, we're still in that transition phase, but I feel within next year, things are going to be very different.
Right.
And people need to prepare.
Awesome. So at this point, from what I recall, you talked about one book that you've already written. Sounds like there's a series of books. Interestingly, this is targeted or made for kids. And as you said, you're also looking to reach out to primarily to women 35 plus, in the 35 plus age group, to be able to help them kind of like reassess where they are and what they're looking forward to. Are there any programs that you've got that you're rolling out or rolled out, so that depending on when people see this video, of course, we will be including your links so people can find you, like, like we have the catch-all link, like a link tree link, so that people can find you regardless of when they see the video. Is there any, at this point of our recording, is there any program or could be a product, whatever that you have created? Is there something that you'd like your audience to get to know?
Yeah. So currently, my program, which is for doctors and healthcare professionals, it's called Healthcare Heroes Circle. Right. So you can always check that out. And if you're in any kind of healthcare field, right? So whether you're a doctor, nutritionist,
Right.
physiotherapist, psychologist, whatever it is, I can help you improve your practice, and add
Nice.
more value to your patient's
Mm,
journey,
mm,
and basically low cost marketing. I don't believe in spending much on marketing.
mm,
So this is low cost marketing. I'll be empowering you guys to do it yourself and not depend on agencies. That is for the healthcare.
mm,
For the other thing which I was talking about,
mm,
I'm still working on it, not yet launched it,
mm,
but yeah, I will get back soon.
mm.
In a month or two, I should be launching it.
So at the time of this recording, of course, it's in the process, but like I said, links will be included. So definitely check them out for those of you who have reached this point of the pod and you're curious to know what are some of the programs that you're creating. So this brings me to an important milestone in our pod. And this is more to do with family. The reason why I say that is because as coaches and healers, and especially post COVID, there's been like a sudden influx of not just content, but people who are there to help you on the journey. So when you have gone on this journey over the last 5 years, how have you seen that make a shift in your life? And, maybe what are some of the reflections that you'd like to share with our audience? As I said, it's primarily healers and coaches, but basically people who have also probably been on that journey of webinars and so much more in, let's say, the last 5 to 6 years. So, is there anything that you would like to share in this context?
In context of family?
Yeah, so it's like, as you were going through your own evolution and, you've obviously, from like what you said, also, you've done a lot of, you've done a lot of internal,
Yeah.
really like looking within.
Yeah.
And therefore, obviously it shifts the dynamic of your relationship with people that are,
Yes.
in your circle. So I'd
Yes.
love to hear and love for you to share more on that.
Yeah. I think I used to be someone who used to be like a people pleaser,
Mm,
difficult to draw boundaries
mm,
and all of that.
mm,
I used to be like that.
mm,
But I think now, being more sure of who I am and what I
mm,
want, what I don't want, naturally, some people have gravitated away,
mm,
others have come closer to me,
mm,
and it all happens for a reason, right? But I'm most proud of how I brought up my daughter,
mm,
right? And she is like the, apple of my eye. And
mm,
also, I'm proud that, she is someone who is very independent and she's doing well in many aspects of life, like
mm,
not just academically, but she's also a good dancer, a
mm,
gymnast, a marathoner, and all of that. And my parents also very proud of me, and they always keep saying that I'm a self-made person, right?
mm,
They're proud of me, and my brother, again, my brother and his wife and his kid,
mm,
all of them, a very close knit family, and
mm,
I keep visiting them and all of that. And I think in the last 2 3 years, my relationship with them and with my daughter, with my pets, has increased a lot. Like, the bond has improved a lot.
mm,
Where I'm talking more openly,
mm,
not like closing down. Like before that, I used to close down a lot, but now I'm opening up a lot. Talking about what I really want and all of that, and how I need their support.
mm.
Asking for help, I think, is one of the things that I've started
Nice.
doing. Whether it's friends, whether it's family, and all
Mm,
of that. But always family comes first. Friends are always there, but
mm,
I've realized over the last few years that family always comes first. They are the people who will always be there, whatever happens. So not neglect your family. Yeah. Yeah, but I've seen, like, especially with my daughter, that she also, when I openly talk to her, she's 21 now, and
mm,
she's doing her MBBS as well. So we have very mature conversations. She tells me, that just yesterday we were talking about our 90s lives, how we used to be as kids and all of that. And she was like, I really want to go back to the 90s. I don't want this, It was so cute and, so sweet, the kind of
mm,
life that you live.
mm,
There was something to look forward to. There was so
mm,
much like curiosity and all of
mm,
that. Now it's like, everything, everybody knows everything,
mm,
that kind of life they're living. The
mm,
kids. There's nothing much to look forward to anymore.
mm,
So even she has, I think, She's slowly understanding. She's modeling after me in some way, but it's also very different in her own ways. So that's what I want. And she's able to think for herself. She's able to stand up for herself. She's able to vocalize what she wants to. That is the biggest, I don't force her to study. I don't do anything, but she herself does everything. So yeah, I think I'm proud that, I've raised her well.
Right. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome. So there's one final segment, the final segment.
Okay.
And this is, of course, in a way, an opportunity to reflect on the journey that you've been on. It's what we call the journey of mentors, right? So, uh, in spite of where you, or let's say, beyond all of your experiences, you've reached here, but along the way, there would have been mentors that would have shown up. So the idea is to, reflect, and also when you share your journey and in a way you're expressing your gratitude for people who showed up when probably at that time you needed, you were asking for something. And if you believe in the universe sent you, or if you believe in God, God sent you the Farishta or that good Samaritan in the avatar of a mentor to, to share some lessons or to teach you something.
Yeah.
And then that in turn led you to the next adventure, and you started to grow and develop through that process. So this is that segment where, you could talk about just the last 5 years, or even over time, like, who are these people? And of course, since we're talking to our audience, which is coaches and healers, possibly even when some people showed up, you can definitely name them, because also it helps other people if they're looking for that or someone like that mentor. It becomes one more rung on their ladder to find the next inspiration, or to get that next resource that can keep them going. So in your story, what was your journey of mentors? I think I've had several professional mentors, but I think personal life, I think 2017 or so, I was very in a low phase of life. And at that time, Sadhguru showed up, and I did my inner engineering at that point in time, and it did help me a lot. And I used to listen to a lot of his videos, and, every day. So it used to keep me positive. And that sort of made me start thinking differently at that time. Right? That was the beginning, I would say. But like with every coach, every mentor, there are some things you like, some things you may not agree with, right? So at least I'm like that. So Yeah.
so you take the best from every mentor. Then after that, I think I had my brush with Success Gan. I've had my coaching journeys with a lot of Success Gan coaches, but I think I have the highest respect for Suren. Suren, and I remember telling Siddharth, I want to be a combination of Suren and you, where I want to think, want to have his vision. I want to have that, where he's not maybe directly involved in coaching, but he's getting a lot of coaches. He's changing, he's changing India. He has that, bigger vision, right? And the kind of ethics, the kind of values how many families are changing because of him, right? And he has produced Siddharth Rajshekar. He has produced Japjit, and he's produced everybody else. And he had that vision because he attended, coaching session with someone, right? I think that is the highest regard I have for him. And he himself introduced me to, being such a busy person, he still took the time to, do a call with me once, and he talked to me about what I do and all of that. He was very interested in healthcare and all of that. At that time, I was working full time. So, and he actually, after talking to me, he sort of pushed me to become a coach, and he gave me a free program of Siddharth Rajshekar's, and that's how I started. Right?
Interesting.
And nobody would ever think like this could happen, right? He's the CEO of Success Gan. Who has time, right? But he knows, he remembers my name every time I go. He talks to me. Even if I message him, he replies and all of that, right? So I really respect him. And I believe I'm someone who can create systems and who can create ecosystems and systems, right? So that's something like Suren. Siddharth Rajshekar has been very, very instrumental in my journey. He's taught me how to set up a coaching program and everything else, right? All the professional side of things. But I also, love the way he's created the culture for ILH, which is very, very difficult, right? I've been through that journey, so I know it's very difficult to create that culture where people literally like worship him, surrender to him fully, right? So that is very difficult. But yeah, so I value him for that. Then Pooja Puneet was someone who really inspired me earlier on because even before Siddharth, I did her
Okay.
courses, and I think that was a turning point for me as well because um, I think I love that concept of sisterhood and working with women. That's when I got to know, like
Right.
women are such complex creatures, right? And it's very interesting to work with them and very motivated. There's so much potential in women, I feel, and that's where I saw the feminine side of things as well. I started appreciating myself a lot more. I think after I joined her program, and, yeah, Thaddeus Lawrence, Blair Singer, Thaddeus for asking the right questions. Right, he will not talk much. He will just ask you one question which will make you think. Right, and I think coaches need to be like that. I feel honestly because by just asking the right question at the right time,
Yeah.
they've done their job. So that's what I feel. Instead of, I mean, a teacher and a coach are very different. Blair Singer again for making you think, right? I think he also has his own frameworks and his ability to simplify things to the simplest level and using those flip charts and it's very, very amazing, very magical. He is the kind of transformation he can bring just by drawing something. He'll make you think and you will remember it for the rest of your life, whatever he's taught you, right? So I think all these people have been very instrumental.
Nice. Beautiful. Like I said when we spoke not too long ago, that I knew the 100th episode was coming up, and I just it was my intuition that led me to reach out to you and say, just check in with you because we hadn't spoken for a bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me just check in and see, would you be available, and does this match where you are on your life's journey? So I'm glad that I got to hear your story in person because, again, as you said, there's so much happening today that it's difficult to actually get this kind of time and hear somebody else's life story. So for me, I've thoroughly enjoyed not only listening to you, but also on so many fronts. It's like I've gotten to know you better, and I can understand now in hindsight why when we connected, I think it was last year, like I'm sure you've seen that as well. With some people, you just connect immediately, even though you may not know why.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? You don't know their story or their backstory, but I've had the privilege of having both. So I met you, and then now I've heard your stories. I can see, you know, on many fronts we have a similar perspective on life, and for me, it's definitely been an honor and a lot of joy to listen to your story. I know that in time to come, you're going to be inspiring even more people to truly, as you said, to be that pattern recognizer and the joiner of their own dots. And I'm sure you'll be helping many more of them to make those connections. So thank you once again, Reshma. It's been an absolute joy to come along with you on the journey. And I'm sure for those of you who've stuck around and you've heard Dr. Reshma's story, I know this is inspiring, and it'll keep whenever you have those questions about, okay, am I in the right place? Is there something missing? It's like that's when you're listening to your story, it reminds them that just keep showing up, just keep doing, and you will find more of who and what you're meant to do.
Yes.
So it's been an absolute joy.
Thank you.
So yeah, so just a reminder, of course, to those of you who have stuck around, the links will be there. So regardless of when you're watching this video, definitely follow along Dr. Reshma Mallya, and of course all the amazing things that she's creating out there. And as always, thank you for being who you are, and thank you, Reshma, for being who you are, and may you continue to be that light in so many others' lives.
Thank you. And may you, go to the 1,000th episode. And
Thank you.
maybe again we'll talk at that time.
Yes, I am definitely looking forward to doing like a part two down the road, so that there's also that like this is where you were and this is what you're
Yeah.
doing now. So I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to that in the future.
Sure.
As always, thank you all for tuning in, and a reminder that of course we will keep creating, we will keep bringing amazing guests, that you can not only hear their stories, but be inspired by them, as I'm sure you have been today. And so, of course, as always, having said all of that, remember to live your purpose. God bless. And of course, see you in the next one.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.